Hey guys, Julian here, and welcome to my hard mode guide. Now before we get started, I want to make clear that this guide basically requires you to know how to bomb tank in normal mode, because even though in hard mode there are the same mechanics being applied, but there's a lot more phases, the mechanics hurt more, and overall you're gonna struggle if you don't know how to bomb tank. So when it comes to PVM, in my opinion, having good keybinds is probably the most important part, because it doesn't matter how good your DPS rotation is, if you can't switch to Mage Spray when a bomb hits you, you're probably gonna die. Well, besides having your offensive spells keybound, you should always have your defensive spells keybound as well. Stuff like Escape, Surge, Deflect Prayers, Soul Split, Shield Dome, Weapon Switches, Vuln, and Spellbook Swap are really important, and it just makes your life so much easier if you can access them via keybinds and not having to click them all the time, so you can focus on what's happening in front of you and not just randomly die. I use a gaming mouse that has 12 thumb buttons, but that's by no means required for PVMing. If you have to be picky about your keybinds, you should focus on a few certain ones that should be really comfortable and easy to access. Intercept is probably the most important one of them, because in some phases you have to set up to 6 people, so that should really go fast. Besides that, having your overhead prayers like Deflect Melee and Deflect Mage, Soul Split, Barge, Bladed Dive, and Surge and Escape. Defenses play a huge role in hard mode bomb tanking. So again, if you would have to be picky, I would choose Resonance, Devotion, and Barricade to be keybound, because you basically use them in all phases. As for gear, I don't have the best gear, and you really don't need to have full tier 92s in order to do hard mode. What I really recommend you to have is at least tier 90 weapons, preferably tier 92s. As you can see, I only have a Praesial wand. I bought a wand over an SOS because I fortick a lot, and therefore I only use my staff for auto attacks. And I really recommend you to fortick, it's really OP at Rago, but again, it's not necessary. What I do think is necessary is having Spellbook Swap runes. Especially after the recent Rune Pouch update, there is no reason not to bring them, and it's really OP. Besides that, having dummies is really good, since it helps you a lot when it comes to building adrenaline before each phase, and that's basically it for gear. Before every single hard mode trip, there's a few steps I take in order to make the fight a little easier for me. That is going to the health pool in Uglog, which basically adds 3% more HP, and then bonfiring after it. That just makes it so much easier for you to take more damage, especially when it comes to tanking Teamsplit or green bombs. What I also do is I eat a rocktail soup before teleporting. That basically gives me 13.4k HP, which also makes the entry easier for me. Now P1 is very similar to normal mode. Essentially what you do is you Excalibur and drop down, you wait until the red bomb hits you, then you're gonna use Disruption Shield and run south. Since your Disruption Shield is on, you basically do not have to worry about getting any kind of damage, at least for the first attack. So all you do is just use Soul Split and try to build up your adrenaline as fast as possible. That's why you usually don't fortick until at least the first red bomb comes out. In this case, the other bomb tank had full HP, so he's just gonna tank the first red bomb himself. Now you're gonna see me step forward. It's pretty simple actually when you think about how septing and red bombs work at hard mode. You take one step in, so the other bomb tank is gonna be the person that's the furthest away from Rago. That's why he's gonna get the red bomb. So I just took a step in, Devo septed him, and he could Soul Split and just normally DPS and try to get his HP back up. Now, since Vorago is at low HP already, it's probably just going to be one more red bomb. The other bomb tank is pretty low HP, so I'm just going to tank the next red bomb myself, and that's basically P1 done. What many people fail to understand is that communication matters a lot in hard mode. Me and the other bomb tank decided before the kill who was gonna take bleeds, and in that case it's me. So like in normal mode, the first bleed is gonna be applied when Vorago jumps down, and the second one the base tank is gonna take. You're gonna Vogue for the third, Freedom that, and Escape for the 4th. And then one of you bomb tanks is gonna Sunshine, and the other one is gonna barricade the red bomb. Who that is, you either decide before the kill, or you just see who Sunshines first. Now, on Reflect, you just chart as you're used to, and you can barricade the 3rd bomb if you get it. That way you take no damage, and like it's still in time to K-tap the red bomb. After that, it's just building to 100% to get your Sunshine after taking bleeds, and just repeat that until the end of the phase. Now, during the Bring Me Down, all you do is spam click Vorago as fast as you can, and once the bar reaches about 3/4, you're gonna activate your aura, and also your Scrimshaw or Godbook, depending on what you're using. If you use a Scrimshaw, you should use it the entire kill until P10-11. If you just camp a Godbook, then you can just activate that now. The rotation for DPSing during the Bring Me Down doesn't really matter in a 7-man, but once you start 4-manning or smaller, you should always Wild Magic, Asphyx, and Deep Breath. Now, at the end of phase 1, you're also gonna want to Disruption Shield, just so that it's gonna be back up sooner on the Scop phase. Now, next phase is gonna be Ceilings. What you're gonna wanna do is Escape or Surge or Bladed Dive North, and then get ready to use Wild Magic and Vogue in the same tick. That way, you prevent Rago from hitting any people who are standing in MD, which just makes the life for DPS people harder. Now, after using Wild Magic and Asphyx, it's gonna be Reflect, and one of the bomb tanks is gonna Devo Sep the other for the blue bombs. In this case, it was a DPSer who septed us, but it didn't matter. Now, after that, you're gonna wanna use the rotation I displayed, and it should be dead in a 7-man. Depending on how fast your team's DPS is, you might or might not be able to use Disruption Shield again. You can always check on your action bar how long you have left until you can reuse it. In this case, I decided not to reuse it since our DPS was fine anyway, and I really wanted it on Vit. So you're gonna Sunshine on drop down. Ideally, you would Vuln one of the Scops, but since it's a 7-man with a lot of majors, I was kind of too lazy to do it. Now, the other bomb tank septed me right off the bat after the 2nd blue bomb. Usually you would Disruption Shield the 1st bomb, tank the 2nd, res the 3rd or 4th, and then sept, just so in case the DPS is slow, you have more time to DPS while being septed. But it didn't really matter, the DPS was fine and we didn't struggle at all. Now, for the next phase, which is gonna be Vitalis, you're gonna stand southwest. I use Disruption Shield again. It's important that you stand southwest and not north or east or some other place, just because that if you stand too close to the Vitalis, they're gonna run to you and prevent you from DPSing. Again, I used Wild Magic and Voked him on drop down, then went on to use Asphyx. I tanked the first 2 blue bombs, and there should have been a 3rd bomb, but the base tank Voked too soon, so I couldn't resonance that. Then you're gonna wanna use Detonate. Sadly, the Vit that was running in front of me cancelled mine, so I couldn't use it. Anyway, you should use basics until you can Wild Magic and Asphyx again, and the phase should be over. Next up is Green Bomb. What you want to do before that phase is basically you build on the Vitalis until you're 100% adrenaline. You also want to eat up because in the next phase you'll be onslaughting. You should definitely use it. In this case it still had a few seconds remaining, but I decided to wait for them and it was fine. Then you're just gonna want to onslaught and it should be dead long before you get to low HP. Now as a bomb tank, since you're taking extra damage from the blue bomb, you don't have to go with your onslaught until the very end. Usually I cancel after the 2nd bomb and just res that and I should be close to high HP again. One person should always place down a dummy, especially if the team doesn't have too much damage, because after your onslaught you're gonna be at 0 HP adrenaline. Yeah, this one is Teamsplit. As bomb tank, it's exactly the same as with DPS, except you take bombs. You're gonna wait for the first TS to spawn, then Bladed Dive or Surge into it. If you blade a dive, make sure you won't actually blade a dive on it if there's someone else, because that won't work. I evoked again, used Swap Magic and a Sphinx, and it's gonna be off after the third bomb. And yeah, I res before Reflect. You do that because you have a lot of time until it's gonna be back up. And ideally you shouldn't get too many blue bombs. In this case the base didn't go MD, which he should have, so we got 3 bombs as bomb tanks. That was less than ideal, but it was still fine. You're gonna use Disruption Shield inside of the Team Split, and then use What Magic as Fix again, and it should be dead. Now, you saw me running there. That's because my Resonance was on 1 second cooldown, and the bomb would have hit me for 3k if I hadn't run away. If you run away, the bomb obviously is gonna still hit you, but you might get 1 second out of it, so that your res will be back on cooldown. Now again, communication matters. I hope at this point you and the other bomb tank have made clear who is gonna tag the red bombs and get scepted for it, and who is gonna sept everyone else. You're just gonna use What Magic and a Sphinx on drop down again. Depending on which is the first bomb, in this case it was a blue bomb, so I used What Magic. But for example, if it was a red bomb, you should be watching your adrenaline, since you have to be 100% to Kate sept the other person. So in this case, I was the guy who Kate septed for the red bombs, so I just septed him, and he tanked them all. And now your goal is to build adrenaline as fast as you can and just deal some damage. So I just asphyxed as soon as he stood up, and the other bomb tank Kated and septed everyone else. Next up is gonna be P9, which is essentially P4 in normal mode. You see me using Spellbook Swap, but I don't actually use Disruption Shield. The reason for that is if you use it before the waterfall spawns, it's just gonna clear it and it won't take off any damage from blue bombs. So what you do is you wait until the waterfall spawned, and then you use Disruption Shield. And out of the waterfall, you're gonna use Wild Magic, Asphyx, and Debreath. You have to be careful that you won't hit the other bomb tank, otherwise the blue bombs will deal double damage, and even if you have Disruption Shield on, you will take damage. Now after that, you're gonna use Preparation and Devotion, and then stand right next to the other bomb tank. You do that so that you take double damage from the blue bombs, which essentially gives you your resonance back really fast. After the stone clones spawn, there's gonna be 7 blue bombs until the weekly special hits. In this case it's ceilings, so what I did is I Kated and septed the other bomb tanks and as many people as I could. Sadly still 2 people or 1 person died, I'm not sure. After that I just destroy the boulder and then I get back to bomb tanking. Now the other bomb tank who is on bleed duty is simply gonna evoke the 3rd and 4th bleed and then also gets back to bomb tanking. After that it's just gonna be 3 blue bombs until reflect. You want to build adrenaline and make sure to stay at high HP. Soul splitting really helps in this phase. You shouldn't be using any food. After the reflect, it's just gonna be waterfalls again, and you will just repeat the same thing. In this case, I just skipped Scop because there's not much to say about it. Instead of Scop spawning, there's just gonna be a red bomb. One of the bomb tanks is gonna step in and Kate sept that. Now this video is for Vitalis. You see me and the other bomb tank running northeast. That's because the Vit Orb is always going to be somewhere northeast spawning. You just Kate and sept everyone on the team and then just kill the Vitalis as fast as you can. After that you're going to take the 3rd and 4th bleed, and basically that's Vitalis done. It's just going to be reflect again after 3 blue bombs and then repeat. Now for green bomb, what you want to do is you want to have the entire team spread out so that no one can actually pass a green bomb. Depending on who the green bomb goes on, one of the bomb tanks is gonna Kate, the other one is gonna sunshine. In this case it was on me, so I sunshined and the other bomb tank just Kated and septed me for it. After that I again take the 3rd and 4th bleed, escape back out, and it's gonna be reflect after 3 bombs, and that's green bomb done. Now for team split it's pretty straightforward. After the 7 bombs it's just gonna be team split. You can sunshine right after the team split or you don't, it really doesn't matter. After 3 bombs it's gonna be bleeds. After bleeds, it's going to be 3 bombs into reflect, and that's basically all that is there to say for Teamsplit. On the end, it's basically the same as what you have in P8. You're gonna blade a dive or surge or just run into the arms. Again, you have to decide who is gonna kate-set the red bombs and who is gonna kate-set everyone else. In this case, I was tagging, so I just tagged all the red bombs, made sure that I ran outside so I wouldn't hit any of the DPSers. And then my goal is to build to 100% as fast as I can, and try to sept everyone as fast as I can again. You want to sept the other bomb tanks as the last person, or next to the last person, just so they take the least amount of damage. There's gonna be a red bomb. Ideally, the other bomb tank is gonna get it. In this case, one of the DPSers got it because he was standing too far out, and he almost died to that. That's why you should always stay close to Vorago as DPSer. And yeah, then it's just gonna be reflect after 4 bombs, and that's it. Alright, here's a quick overview over P10 and 11. Most important is that you kate every single Vit orb with no exceptions, and you should only kate once per cycle. With cycle, I simply mean if this phase starts with Teamsplit, the other bomb tank is gonna kate the next Teamsplit, but he shouldn't kate before that. Coming into the first P10, this one is gonna be ceilings. One person is gonna kate after the Teamsplit, and the other bomb tank is gonna sunshine. In this case, I was sunshining, so I stood north. Now, you just want to get as many thresholds as possible out before the reflect hits, which is 3 bombs after the Teamsplit. Now, on reflect, you just try to build adrenaline, use vuln, maybe detonate. It doesn't really matter too much. You see me detonating in this case. After that, it's just stalling again. This one is green bomb after Teamsplit, so you really want to... You can see the DPSers onslaughting. You basically just want to deal enough damage so you can maul it before any blue bomb comes out, because in P11, it's gonna start wherever P10 left off. So, since no bomb came out, it's gonna be 5 blue bombs, and then it's gonna be Teamsplit again. So, since someone placed a dummy down, we could start the phase with around 40% adrenaline instead of 0, which really helps. Yeah, in this case, we just continued building to 100%. And the Teamsplit, you should probably tank as a bomb tank unless you really have a lot of food and insist on reprisaling it, which you definitely can do, it's just not necessary. Now, since there is going to be a Vit orb, we are going to save our adrenaline and not use any sunshines or barricades just yet. It's going to be Vit orb after the reflect. So I basically just maintain high adrenaline. Yeah, Vorago decided to turn around there. And you're gonna see me using a resonance. It basically doesn't really matter when you use a resonance in a 7-man, just basically don't die. So you see me septing the other bomb tank and kating as soon as the Vit orb comes out. You should always try to sept as many people as you can. It's not really because of the pushback, but mainly because it just hurts if you get hit by blue bombs and the Vit orb. And it just helps negating a lot of damage that people might take. Now, after that, you basically just rinse and repeat. We got another Teamsplit and another reflect, and that's the phase done. Alright, next up is Scopulus. Sadly, I don't have a clip of me doing Scopulus because I quit Runescape in the week before it started, but it doesn't really matter. Scopulus is regarded as one of the harder weeks, mainly because of the purple bombs in P10 and 11, but if they're dealt with properly, it's really not that hard. You just have to make sure that you try to sept as many people as you can on drop down in P10 as bomb tank, and just deal good DPS. And in P11, it's probably the hardest part of the entire fight on Scop+Vit. You just have to make sure that you kate the Vitalis orb and not the purple bomb, even though you might think it would be smarter to kate the purple bomb. It's not. You should always kate every single Vit orb. Besides that, you can use Devotion while you are getting your purple bomb. It just helps a lot when, basically to not get KO'd, because the bomb hits for 4k and it really does hurt. You don't have to do much septing because you're gonna save your devotion for the purple bomb. So yeah, in that phase, just try to deal as much DPS as you can to make it go fast. And that's Scopulus done. Alright, this one is Vitalis. You just want to Sunshine on drop down. If you're the north bomb tank, the south one is gonna Cade. It's gonna be 3 blue bombs after reflect, so you want to spellbook swap and detonate that, and then just continue stalling and damaging Vorago as much as you can. You should get it before the purple bomb hits you. After that, in P11, it's gonna be Vit Orb again, after 5 blue bombs, so you want to get to Cade as fast as you can. In this case, the other bomb tank decided to go for Sunshine since he just Cade'd, and I was a little slow with building. When you have time issues, you might want to not fortick until you get to 100% adrenaline and then continue forticking. But yeah, after that it's just the same. It's going to be reflect, 3 bombs after the Vit Orb again. And in this P11, instead of having a purple bomb, so in this case you see me running into MD just in case I get 2 or 3 bleeds. And then I get back to Sunshining, and it's just repeating the entire thing until the phase is done. Alright, next up is Green Bomb, which is a very unique P10, since everyone is going to be onslaughting except of any melee DPSers. If you don't onslaught, or if your team fails to onslaught properly and you get a reflect, it's gonna be a purple bomb after that, which you can just go ahead and Cade. In this case, it didn't though, so it's just 4 bombs and then off. The bomb tank kinda went crazy here and surged into melee distance, which was really bad for us since we got pushed back twice. But it doesn't really matter. So after that, it's gonna be Teamsplit, out of which you're gonna Cade. If both the bomb tanks have Disruption Shield, you can always use Disruption Shield in the team split and reprisal it or not. The other bomb tank is gonna Sunshine, and the phase is just gonna repeat. It's gonna be another green bomb spawn, and it should be mauled pretty fast. Team split is considered the hardest hard mode rotation, but in reality it's really not that hard if your team actually knows what to do. And DPS matters in P10, it matters a lot. In P11 as well, but even more so in P10. Out of the first team split, you're gonna Cade Sep the other bomb tank, who is gonna Sunshine, and then it's just gonna be 3 bombs until it's Reflect. Reflect, you should Vuln it, and Shard it, and then just continue building Adrenaline if you're not going to detonate. After that, it's gonna be team split again. This one, the bomb tanks can tank, or go in, the DPS have to tank it. Otherwise, they're gonna drag blue bombs into the DPS pile. If they all reprisalled it, and one of the bomb tanks had reprisalled it as well, it would have been a pretty easy maul. Which I think it was in this case. Yeah. So that's a really easy P10. It also can go horribly wrong if people don't DPS enough, and you have to tank and tank and tank team splits in a row, and you might forget the order, and it's just gonna be one big mess. That's why DPS matters a lot on team split week. Since we mauled after the second team split in P10, it's gonna be team split again in P11. And ideally you would Cade this, but sadly we didn't have enough adrenaline, so in this case we just went and tanked it. It's important that you don't just randomly use your devotion unless you're like out of food completely, but you should always save that for the purple bomb, which can really hurt. In this case, the other bomb tank decided to Sep me. He's not gonna have Devo for purple bomb, but it's still fine. So normally you would Cade Sept out of the team split, but since I saw Vorago push being pretty far back, and I knew this team was good DPS, I decided to Cade on purple bomb. You can do that as a bomb tank, you basically can decide whenever you want to Cade. In this case, I just decided to do it now because I knew we were gonna get to maul before the next team split. And so we might as well save the team a lot of trouble and just do it that way. So yeah, that's basically team split done with a decent team. Alright, next up is Purple Bomb. It's gonna start with a Purple Bomb, as the name suggests. One bomb tank is gonna Cade Sep the other, and hopefully the team as well. and the other one is just gonna Sunshine and try to deal as much damage as he can. On Reflect, you're gonna try to Vuln and deal damage again. After that, it's gonna be Smashes. You just run into MD if you're scared of clearing bleeds. And yeah, then it's gonna be Purple Bomb again, and you should get a Maul as soon as you can, basically. Since the TL5 mauled right after the Purple Bomb got released, it's gonna be 5 Blue Bombs until it's Reflect. So you should have more than enough time to build to 100% Adrenaline. Normally there would be a Vit Orb now, but since Vorago was too far east, we got a Red Bomb, which really hurt. The other bomb tank failed to Devo-Sep me, K-Tep me, and I had to tank the 6k, which never should happen, but it did, and it's okay. Yeah, after that it's just gonna be repeat the same thing. We had a Purple Bomb, now it's Reflect. After that it's gonna be another Vit Orb. This time you see me dealing with the orb properly, basically. You just kite everyone and step into the orb, and then you repeat all that again and again and again until the phase is over. Alright guys, that's it with the guide. Yeah, I hope you had fun watching. I hope you learned something. I hope less teams are gonna fail because of this. Yeah, good luck at hard mode.
Spartans never retreat. Spartans never surrender.